Okay, you survived the easy part, but now we are getting into the gritty, the meaty, the awesomeness of presenting those activities. But don't stress, I got you. We're gonna go through this together. So we're going to learn how to present those activities. Now that we have the toys that we have, now we need to know what to do with them. So we're going to learn what toy rotation is. You're going to learn my signature toy color system so that you can have a balanced playtime. You are going to learn how to set up your own system and your role as a parent during playtime so that you know the power of observation. And you're going to learn about the different play stages so that you know when you observe your child if they're going through some of these stages. So let's talk about the different play areas. So when you go to a daycare, they have these different areas, and there was a reason for each of them. So I decided to bring that concept home. You want to have a reading area. I would call it a reading nook, and they don't have to be all in the same place, like I showed you here, because this is just my space. So if you have a smaller space, you might have these different areas in different areas of your home, or you don't have a big sofa with a bookshelf on the side, for your reading nook. You just have a little chair with a little basket next to it. So as long as they have a place for them to read, that is the reading nook, and that is just really what you need. So a basket, access to books, and a place to sit. You want to have a creative area, so somewhere where they can be creative. And we'll go in depth into each of these. So you want to have a creative area. I just have an IKEA desk with some drawers, so a place where he can sit and go and get creative. You want to have a place where you can display the toys. Toys are beautiful. Let's use that to display and invite them to play. And then very, very, very important, which gets overlooked often, it's floor space. You want to have a space for them to play, to create, to lay the toys, and to be creative. If you see kids are just throwing the toys on the floor and moving, and they're not playing with anything, they really are just looking for that floor space where they can be open and they can lay down, and then they can organize and spread and create their little worlds. So these are the four main areas. I want you to look around in your home and see, do you already have some of these where he can get access? Or maybe every time you read, it's always in the bed. So maybe books, we're only reading at nighttime. So maybe you can create something. And I'll show you how I created my reading nook. When you create a place where they can read, they associate that comfort level, and they're going to want to read more. You can see here the books are easily accessed. He doesn't have to reach high. He doesn't have to ask for help. He can just simply go into the basket. There's only a few books that are there. The rest of our collection is somewhere else. So these are selected books that I do rotate. They can easily access. It's a place that is comfy. So this is just a cushion. I went ahead and I bought a dog bed. The only problem is the dog think that's a bed for them, but that's okay. We share, we read together. I have a dog bed with some pillows in the back, and then it's big enough so that we can sit there with our child. So it doesn't have to be large, it doesn't have to be expensive. It could just be a chair, and as long as they have access to the books and a place to sit, that's basically all you need. So let's talk about some ideas. So here's a dog bed with the pillows on the top right. You can have a bean bag. You can have just a cushion with a simple basket of books. You can go super creative and super cute and, get those tents, and they can go inside and read. The only thing I see with those is that you can't really join them unless you get a really big tent, because I don't think they're very big that you can fit with them to read. So keep in mind who is going to be reading. Then you can do a kid's bench. So you can have a bookcase on the bottom with a custom made pillows on the top. You can have a simple reading chair. So these are all different ideas for different spaces. Just see what you have in your space, maybe things you already have at home that you can create, and you can create this cozy place that your child can read. Let's talk about the creative area. And this is an area I think as an art lover, an art teacher, and a sensory promoter, this is one area that I absolutely love. And I knew that from the beginning, this is something I wanted to have. Some people are afraid because they don't want to leave materials like the markers and the crayons out. But if your child does not have access to those materials, how are they going to be able to be creative? And I don't mean you have to have like, permanent markers, but you can have a few crayons, maybe a few color pencils, or things that, they can get creative with. Maybe some stamps. Always have paper available. So he just sits there and he knows that there's a blank piece of paper he can always just get creative with. He doesn't have to be searching for things. He feels to be creative and he has a place to go. Yes, at the beginning, I did kind of monitor, the supplies, where I would teach him, with the markers go in the paper, they don't go in your skin, they don't go on the furniture. So it was something that, we did together often. We would take time to sit at that table and just get creative. So he had a system that he knew that if he wanted to get creative, he could just sit on this area and he could just grab the supplies he needs. Another important place is a place that you can show their artwork. They might do a scribble, but it's something that they create. It was their self-expression and you want to hang that proudly. You can put it in your refrigerator if you don't have space. I have a string that my husband just put 2 nails on the wall and I just tied a string, and I use clothespin to just hang artwork. And it is not Picasso. It is not these major art pieces that you see on Pinterest. It's just their little scribbles, and they absolutely love and see those displayed. They just feel proud, and you should be proud of their creations. They're expressing they're working on their fine motor skills, and they're expressing through color. At the early age, they do a lot of expression through color because that's the choices that they have. They don't have the fine motor skills to create, the fine objects. So they do express a lot themselves in size, and they do use a lot of color choices because that's what's available and that's what, they have access to. So you want to make sure that it is also a safe place and age appropriate. You don't want to have pointy scissors that they can get hurt, or things like that. So just keep it toddler friendly, keep it at the age level. The next thing, and I briefly touch about this, it's the floor space. You want to have an area, designated area, that they can just play, that is not cluttered with toys, that they can really just put their stuff in, and then they can be creative. It can be a simple rug. When you're setting up your space, that you have intention, that you are saying that there is a place they can put their toys away, that they can grab stuff easily, and then they have a place to lay them, to play with them. Get on their level, get down to the floor, look around and see what they see to their eye level, so that you know what kind of changes you can make or what is really working. So here's a question, which one looks more attractive? And I don't say it because of the colors. This is on the right hand side is a very traditional Montessori shelf. On the left hand side is something in a traditional home you would see. What I want to point out is the left side is a box, boxes, and the toys are hiding. So do you really see what's in there? No, you don't know what's in there. So let me guess what they're going to do. They're going to go through each of those boxes. They're going to empty it all on the floor till they find the toy that they're looking for. Basically, if you go on an open shelf system, you still have those baskets, but they all have their place, and they can easily see what toys they have. So it's easily for them to access. It also looks prettier in terms that it is more attractive. Toys are pretty. Toys are designed to be attractive. So use that to decorate your space. So let me show you mine. I have a 5, that's supposed to be a bookshelf from IKEA that I had in my old house. And I just brought it in as part of our playroom space. And, I have one toy in each of the baskets or in each of the areas, and it just makes it more attractive. It's a lot cleaner so that they actually see what they have. Like, I always go back. Imagine yourself having a closet full of outfits. You don't even know what you have, so you're gonna go around and throw everything until you find that one white shirt that you're looking for. But if you have less stuff to look for, let's say you change your closet by seasons, you are more likely to know and see what you have, and you won't have to do all of this just to try to find it, which is exactly what happens with toys. They go like this, get everything out of the basket till they find what they want to play with. Then they get so overwhelmed. There's so many toys on the floor, and they just walk away and be like, "Mommy, I'm bored," and they made a disaster in the playroom. So that's what we're trying to avoid. So I really, 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 if you're gonna make an investment, invest in some open shelves. Just find shelves and things that are open, and then just use baskets and trays to kind of put toys together. Another thing that you're going to notice when you implement a open shelf system is that a child is going to have a easier time cleaning up their toys, because they know each toy has a place and it is easy for them to find that place. There's one toy that goes in this basket, so it's easy for them to actually help and do it. They don't do it because they don't want to. They do it because they don't know how to clean. And we'll talk about a little bit of that cleanup tips and tricks later. When toys are organized and there's less clutter, creativity just flourishes. Like, honestly, they'll just start to create and use the toys differently. So there is a research that they did many years back, and they had two groups of kids. The first group, they gave them 16 toys each, and the second group, they gave them 8 toys each, or 4. I think it was 4. And they wanted to see which group of kids would play the longest with their toys, because sometimes we feel more toys means more play opportunities. Well, what happened is the group that had less toys played for longer, because they were able to be more creative with the toys they had. There was less clutter, less choices, less brain thinking of, do I choose this or that? Like, when you have too many choices, then you don't choose anything. And it happens when you go to the supermarket. If you have 10 different types of, chicken, then you don't even know what chicken to buy. So it works the same way with the toys. So don't think that because, I have that fear that if I don't have enough toys, he's not going to have enough things to play with. And it's a mindset that, I started with, and I had to learn how to understand that was not the case, that more toys means I was harming him because he didn't know what to choose. I was giving him too many choices, and I was making my life more complicated, because that means more cleanup, because he would just throw them all out and he didn't know what to choose from. So when I started implementing the system of just putting less toys in the open, doesn't mean I was getting rid of all of his toys. And that was something I had to work through in my mindset, right? Which you'll have to do it too. Just because you're not displaying them at that exact time doesn't mean you're getting rid of them. That's why it's called a rotation system. There's some that are going to be in storage, some that are going to be in display for playtime, and you're going to rotate. So how do we display the toys for more playtime? Like I said, toys are beautiful, so use them. Toys are colorful. One thing I learned is toys are so colorful. You want to try to minimize the colors that you have from the shelves, your flooring, your carpet, even your designs on the wall, because then it just creates visual clutter. What started with a bookshelf that was black, and black absorbs color, it's just kind of dark. I went ahead and changed it for a white one, which then I thought it was too many choices, even with that. So that turned into our bookcase in his room, and I only have one that has, I colored this one white, I painted it, and that's what we use. You want to have shelves and display areas that are easy to access, and so which means if they can easy access, they can also easy clean it up. You want to have baskets and shallow trays to put toys together. So if you have puzzles, you put the puzzle pieces on the basket, I have here on my play scarves. So they're not like all over the place. They have a little basket, so he knows it goes in the basket. You can do puzzles, you can do trays. Like these bins areas are kind of small for some of the trays. I bought a set of the baskets, and that's what I use. You want to make sure that you have the floor space so that they can choose, to take that toy out of the shelf and they have a place to go to play with it. And you want to offer a variety of toys, the Colors toy system. So I actually do have a plan for each of the areas or each of the squares of the type of toys that I use. So we'll talk about that later. So remember, according to research, kids that have too many toys available at one time play less than those who have fewer toys to choose from. So keep that in mind when you are thinking that by implementing this toy rotation, you're going to be removing toys and he'll have nothing to play with. It's a complete mindset we have to change. And I'm going to prove to you that they will play more if they have less. So let's talk about toy rotation on that next video.